She just caught the Jamestown ferry. It's not a hot day in January, not February. Oh. Best Served Cold by Joe Abercrombie. This is the first of three books that are technically, I guess, considered standalones. They don't really feel like it at this point, but they're three books that take place between the two main trilogies that bookend what he's written for the First Law universe so far. I am currently at Best Served Cold. I worked my way through the first trilogy. I have a video about my thoughts on that trilogy. Spoiler alert, I love it. And that'll be floating around somewhere up here for you to go check out if you'd like to. I'm really proud of that video. Best Served Cold is Joe Abercrombie's take on just like a revenge tale. It's overstated, I think, in the fantasy community, but this really does feel like his version of the Count of Monte Cristo. Which, if you've read the Count of Monte Cristo and also Joe Abercrombie's other work, you should be as excited as you feel right now. I mean, it is really something. I did really like this book. There is maybe like one thing that kind of stuck out to me as something that wasn't exactly my favorite, but I'm going to talk very briefly about what I thought in a non-spoiler way, and then I'll, wave a red flag and say, hey, spoilers, and then get into some more specific details on what specifically I liked and didn't like. This is a story about Monza Mikado. She is a higher up in this guy named Duke Orso's hired militia. And I think she even has a spot in his like governmental body at this point as like one of his most trusted confidants. Needless to say, I don't think this is spoilers. This is literally the first chapter. He stabs her in the back and almost kills her. And then she goes on a quest to not only kill him, but to kill the other 6 people who were just in the room. Then the rest of the book sort of episodically goes by and shows you her recruiting her team to do this sort of like, it's almost like Magnificent Seven Samurai style. Like she goes around like, hey, I hear you can, Each section of the book is a different kill. And there are, I believe, 7 sections for the 7 targets that she's going for. The cast of characters that she gathers up are actually quite a few familiar faces from the original 3 books, which was surprising to me. I was really happy to see that they were in there, and the new characters that were introduced, I absolutely loved. I loved them. Specifically, a gentleman named Friendly. Every time he was on the page, I was just enjoying myself. He was just awesome. I'm going to wrap up the spoiler-free stuff here now so I can talk a little bit more about the plot without worrying about spoiling anything for people, but just sort of generally what I thought. I mean, it's a great book. It is high octane. It is really propulsive. Like, you really want to keep reading. There's not a lot of drag here. The character work, again, is just, like, on top. That is, he is truly a master at writing characters that feel real. Monza, the protagonist, I understand her motivation in almost every facet of the decisions that she makes throughout the book. And the just multiple plot twists and backstabs. He does such a good job of showing why these twists happened. Not just being like, oh, hey, a twist, isn't that cool? It's like seeing a twist or a revelation and then understanding why that is happening are two different things, and he does the latter so well. If I had to say like one thing that I didn't necessarily love about the book, it's not even something I disliked, something I didn't really love, is how episodic each like little segment was. Like they did feel like a couple of little vignettes, almost like short stories for each kill, and I don't necessarily know if I can think of a way that I would have rather it been presented, but there were a couple of times where it was kind of like, oh, we're all the way across the world, or we're all the way across the continent, which is fine. It wasn't necessarily bad. It's just I really like those character moments, and if I think there probably could have been more character moments on the way to the road to this place, I would have wanted to see these characters I love interact more. I would probably rate Best Served Cold a 4.5 out of 5 star, which would be like a 9 out of 10. I do 5 stars, but I do half stars, so it's basically a 10-point scale. I'm aware of this, but I like how stars look. I think they're cool looking. That's what it boils down to. Okay, so spoiler talk. I really love the returning cast. I loved Carl Shivers. He was probably, I think, the most interesting character in this book for me. And after just looking at the first couple pages of the heroes, which I plan to start soon, I see that he's back, and I'm hoping that he returns again for Red Country, which I know is the third book in this sort of non-trilogy trilogy. That would be cool, because I think his arc in this book with sort of like wanting to be a better man and then just absolutely like not doing that, really heartbreaking to see. It was really just like tragic. Monza, I loved Monza. I thought she was smart. I thought she was tenacious, and I really am happy with where she ended up, because she obviously ended up in a better spot. I really liked that she went through with getting her revenge, because in more often than not in these kind of stories, at the end they'll find some just honestly stupid reason to spare them, and it's like, no man, this guy did you so dirty. Just get your revenge. We got to talk about Nikimo Koska. I mean, he was just a drink. Yeah, I just loved him. He had some of the best character moments in the entire book. I mean, his sacrifice, his rising back to the top of the Thousand Swords, his relationship with Friendly, who I also loved. I loved that he also quit drinking out of spite. That was just really awesome. Castor Morvier, I specifically loved Stephen Pacey's voice that he would do for him in the audiobook. The scene where he's trying to get down from the bank of Valiant and Bulk, and he just keeps going, damn it. That was just so funny. The way he would hit that one phrase, it painted such a clear picture of what kind of person that he was. This is probably the funniest Joe Abercrombie book I've read. There are moments in this that just cracked me up. Specifically, there's a moment where this general is trying to talk to Koska and his sort of entourage about what they think, what's your plan, and they all just kind of go, and that for some reason that scene sticks out to me as just I cracked up reading that. The action in this book blew my mind. Specifically, one just really great sword fight that took, I think, it was a super long chapter, and it was sort of in the back half of the book, but it was incredible. It might be my favorite fight scene in anything, books, movies, TV. It was riveting. I was reading it before class, and it's I couldn't finish it before my class, and so I was just sitting through my photography class being like, oh my god, I gotta figure out I gotta get back out there. And the mirror of Monza trying to do something awful but ending up a more merciful person at the end, in Shivers trying to become a better man and then becoming a much worse one by the end of it. That was just really well done, I think. Honestly, yeah, there's not a lot to pick on with this book. I am so excited to be reading these books for the first time. I mean, they're blowing my mind out of the back of my head right now. Speaking of violence, this is a really violent book. One of, I think, the most violent that I've read of his out of the four. the scene where Shivers gets his eye burned out, it made me physically uncomfortable, which is saying something. I feel like I have a pretty high tolerance for this stuff. And I mean, the way he described like the noise it made, the smell, I like it was very descriptive. And I just loved it. I thought it was great. I probably liked it more than the Blade itself, but I don't think I liked it more than Before They're Hanged or Last Argument of Kings. I really, really, really like those two books. Um, this is a great book, though. I mean, like I said, 4.5 out of 5 stars, 9 out of 10. Um, it is a really good book, and I would highly recommend it. I am starting The Heroes sometime soon, and I will have a review out for that as well. Um, thank you guys for joining me on this Ab- Joe Bur Joe Aberney Joe Abercrombie Joe Abercrombie journey. There are other books I want to talk about on this channel that I hope you will also find fascinating. If you like this content, if you like this video and my other First Law video, please do the things, do the YouTube things. Like, subscribe, follow me on Instagram at magehand.jpg. I'm really happy to report that this book is also awesome, after having read the first trilogy. I'm excited. I'm excited to see where this goes. Catch y'all later. Bye.